Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my, that's a shank. He decided to re-tee, that's a shank. Oh man.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Two-Way Miss podcast. Thank you, as always, for joining us wherever and whenever you might be listening and or watching. As always, I am one of the hosts of your show, Mr. Regz, and I'm joined by the good buddy Banksy. Fresh off a quick IT session. I do these free of charge for friends and family, so happy I could help the buddy out. We have some stuff to talk about based on the last time we got together, buddy.
We sure do.
But also, it was great to see you again. We've seen each
I
other
know.
now. It was like 2 weeks in a row there.
I know. I'm spoiled.
And then it makes us sad when we have to go like a month without seeing
I know,
each other.
I know. Oh, that's so bad. It shouldn't be that way.
We had a good time at our fellow podcast host, Mr. Azalina's book signing. Luckily, the venue served beer, so we had a great time whispering to ourselves and trying to behave, which we did.
Sure did.
We behaved. I was proud of us. There were some chances for us to not behave.
We had
There were
some
some
opportunities.
And we did the right thing, so I'm proud of us. Look at us maturing.
Tell you what.
But congrats to Azzy. It was a good time. Very happy for him and his
Oh.
book, which he's talked about on our other podcast. But
Love you, buddy.
that's right. So we talked about something pretty specific on our last episode that was un-Tiger related. And it was Mr. Rahm. And at that point, there were rumors that he was going to LIV Golf. And then, wouldn't you know it, a couple days after we record that episode, there he is on Fox News in a LIV Golf Letterman jacket saying that
Great.
he's going to LIV.
Great jacket. I almost went downstairs and got mine and put it on.
You
for
should
one
have.
just to...
We should have went and bought some and then really wore them.
Yeah.
Man, it didn't take long for us to, not be wrong, but just kind of to see what happened. And I don't know. We kind of talked about this when we saw each other, but
Yeah.
just give me like your initial, tell the people what your initial feelings were, thoughts about Rahm moving forward. Like, what are we thinking after this?
I think when you get that far down the road where there's numbers being talked about and there's not really like a rebuttal right away from Rahm and his camp, you pretty much knew that it was a done deal. And I just, it's unfortunate. And Freddie had some good points recently just about the whole LIV situation. And again, like what are these these tours are going to have to merge at some point, and I know that's in the works, but it's like the PGA Tour is going to have to kind of expedite the process because we're losing everybody.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But you can't, if you were offered $1 million to go do something, it'd be hard to turn that down.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, thinking about $400 million, whatever the number was,
Right.
it's a shame. It's a shame that it's happening like this, but I hope they can find some type of common ground to bring these tours together so we can see all the best players play again. And still, I don't know if we'll ever get to this or not, but any kind of LIV versus PGA Tour $1 billion matchup, Phil and Tiger are captains on opposing, like it'll be the most watched.
Is that the new Ryder Cup?
It'll be the most watched situation ever.
Oh man. So I've thought about this and I've listened to a couple other podcasts, read, the articles that were coming out. I think let's just say it's tough because, like I said on the last pod, I like John Rahm. Like I like watching John Rahm play golf, and I thought that he took the majors seriously. He wanted to win, a lot. Like he was one
Yeah.
of the guys that really we thought had like that fire to want to win and like win everything he looked at. And it's tough when you've said what he said to all of a sudden go back on it. I understand the reasons for it, but it's still tough. Like you still have to take into account, like you said these things publicly
Yeah,
and
100%.
and then backed away from it just because they hit some monetary number. So despite what you might say, like you're really that like you can't just get around it. I think it's a huge bummer that I'm only going to get to watch John Rahm play 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Like a real bummer. Because he was one of the reasons I would tune into a regular PGA Tour week.
Right.
Like it would take Rahm and maybe just a couple other guys to be in it. For me, at least to turn it on the weekend. I might not watch Thursday, Friday, but I'll turn it on the weekend.
Yeah. And I'm not happy about it. I just at this point
Yeah.
I get it. Like I don't know. It's like I don't like it, and I
Yeah.
don't want these players to leave. But
So my
as a human being, like I guess I get it. It does suck horribly.
Yeah. I mean, the
And
next
for
point is the PGA Tour did this to themselves. They set the precedent to do business with PIF and Saudi Arabia. Like they set the precedent by coming out with this framework agreement. They made it okay. Like they were the first ones to balk and go back on all the things they've said about this LIV golf and where the money is coming from. Like we saw what a fool Jay Monahan looked like when he's trying to re-explain all these things, when he's talked about like 9/11 and all this other crap.
Right.
And trying to like explain his way out of like, well, you said all this stuff. Like what did it mean? And you can't get away from it. You can't be like, there's no answer.
Yeah.
And so like they made it okay to do this. And so I think I still am disappointed. I'm still sad that like even if it's a year, let's just say it's 2 years. That's only 8 times I'm going to watch John Rahm play golf.
Yeah.
And
these guys do lose something. They playing in this.
Yeah. They're not the same.
Essentially a rec league. They're not the same. When they do come out on the couple times that we get to see them, like they're not right. They're not the same.
Yeah.
We saw Koepka win a major, but it didn't. The rest of these guys, and I know they had some good finishes in majors, but they're losing. Like you're playing on your professional league with the best of the best of the best, and now that completely gets turned into a fun rec league situation. Like your mindset just
you're not playing the same type of golf courses. You're not
right.
Shots aren't as difficult. Like
changes.
Yeah.
So it's
a bummer because you want to
Yeah.
think that Rahm has more majors in him.
Yeah.
Like he's only got 2.
Yeah.
It's not that many, given that guy's talent. It's not that many.
Right.
I think a lot of us expect him to win more. And it's a real bummer if it just turns into him being non-competitive in majors. And I don't think it'll take... I anticipate he'll still play well in them this year. Like, really. Because he really hasn't... He hasn't even played a LIV event. He might not play one until the Masters happens. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But... like, just eventually it's going to get to you. Of like, Brooks, he came out and won the major. And then he was kind of close and won more, for 2 days. And then that was it. Like, he wasn't close in any of the rest of them. And it's just like, for a guy that I wanted to watch win more of those, it's just a real bummer. because I'm
For
not,
sure.
I'm not gonna watch a second of Live Golf. I don't care.
No, and it's not like it's easy to write. You're not, you're not going to see these guys play. It's not like it's easy to find
Yeah. The
or
CW
easy to
won't even put out ratings. They're so bad.
easier to watch.
They won't even
Right.
let go of the numbers because they're like embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and unfortunately, like you said, like the PGA Tour's in trouble. Like they're going to have to submit to kind of, lives
Well, so now there's all these talks that
conditions.
I think the PGA Tour came out and said that they're advancing talks with this other private equity firm that isn't PIF. So
what? Bring these guys back?
Well, they've been able to pull them in to essentially get the same type of monetary lift that PIF was offering. Like they're trying to work out the same amount of monetary, like the same money deal, but just not PIF. Like with these other, private equity firms who have a shit ton of money. They don't have PIF money,
Right.
But,
yeah. And then it, yeah. Jeez.
but essentially
And then-
after that, like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to buy them back?
Yeah, because that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, right. Are you buying them back? And then, are we getting into contract situations now, or are the purses of the tournament just going to be
Well, yeah, you saw Wells Fargo.
crazy?
Wells Fargo backed out of their tournament because they don't
Yeah.
want to pay the money
Yeah,
that it was going to take to fund a tournament anymore.
right.
With the numbers that the PGA Tour has given these sponsors that they think they have to put up to compete with LIV, like it's just not sustainable without this
Yeah.
like influx of cash. And
Yeah, it's wild.
and then let's just say they do a private equity deal. LIV, like PIF isn't running out of money anytime soon.
Right.
Like they wanted to get out of this because they don't really want to, like this isn't making any money. They don't care that much, but they care a little bit.
Yeah.
Like this is what it showed. It showed that they cared a little bit. We went into this thinking like they don't care. They'll spend money for the rest of our lives and not even blink an eye. But this kind of showed that like, okay, we kind of we really only wanted to have a seat at the table. So like we don't really want to spend this much money in this black hole that is LIV Golf.
Yeah.
But they certainly don't have to stop anytime soon.
Well, look
And
what
if they're
they've been
gonna-
able to. Yeah, go ahead.
If they're going to go with this private equity, like they're going to figure out a way to pay the top guys more, but they're not paying them LIV money.
Right.
Like they're going to still have to earn most of their money.
But and look what you're right. And LIV probably planned for all of this. Look what they've been able to do in 2.5 years. They have everybody. They have almost everybody.
Yeah.
I think we have Rory, Spieth, Thomas, Tiger once a month. Like they have everybody. It's not good. It's not good for the PGA Tour, and it's especially not good because you're 100% right. They're going to have to backpedal on all that tough guy talk that they put out there.
Or
And-
or if they do this deal with another private equity firm, like LIV continues to be a thing.
Yeah. Right. And
like
right.
the best players aren't coming back together to play. Like
Right.
they
And-
will remain separate. And
Yeah. And then how long do those private equity firms want to pay your B team a ton of money?
right.
Right? Like why would you want to pay?
It's not even the same valuation with Rahm being gone as it was a week ago. Like whatever valuation you might be trying to get isn't the same now with Rahm gone. Like it's not the same. And it's just like Kevin Van Valkenburg had a good article for No Laying Up that just like we've reached the point where like we've kind of known this, but like the fan of golf is just getting absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Like these are like two huge corporations led by greedy, manipulative, like just shitty people. And all they're trying to do is make as much money as possible. And
Yeah.
like, this is a sport. Like, sports are sports because of the fans.
Right. And the love
And-
of the game and
right.
having fun.
And
And now
the
it's not
TV
fun.
broadcast is just full of commercials, and they barely show live golf shots. And it's just like, why would anyone watch golf? Why would anyone care anymore?
But in a time where there's more new golfers than we've seen in
Right. That actually want to
20
play.
years, they that are trying to learn and trying to play.
Which is why I think the sport of golf is fine. But if you're just talking about the professional golf sport, like if you're
Right.
just talking about professional golf, why does anyone want to tune in? Why does anybody care? You're right.
Yeah.
The numbers of people playing golf is crazy, like, which is awesome. But why would anybody want to sit down on a Saturday and Sunday and watch golf outside
And
of the
watch
4 majors
7 hours of coverage with commercials
with 5 hours of commercials?
and shitty commentating.
Yeah. And shots that are like, well, just a moment ago. It's like, no, I'm watching. I want to see them hit the shot. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need a bunch of tape delay replays where you
Yeah.
already know what's going to happen with the shot. And it's just like the fan is just being absolutely bulldozed.
Yeah, you're getting screwed.
And like, I'm not going to turn on Live Golf on YouTube. The stupid scoreboard on the side with all the colors is dumb.
Oh, I know. All the logo, all the
commentators-
ridiculous logos.
The
yeah.
commentators like sucking off every golfer that shows up and like how great this thing is, and look at all the people
Yeah.
having fun. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's horrible. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
The broadcasts are bad. The cameras are bad. The courses aren't great. There's no pleasure in watching a live
I'd
tournament.
I'd rather go back and watch Tiger highlights for 5 hours.
Sure. Yeah, hell yeah.
I would be
Absolutely.
more entertained. And I've seen those
Absolutely.
things 1,000 times.
Right. You know exactly what's going to happen
Yeah.
and when it's going to happen.
I'd
and
be
you'd
more entertained by doing
You'd-
that.
You'd rather watch that.
I would
And
get
that-
more juice watching those highlights than I would watching an entire broadcast of Live for 4 days.
Yeah.
3 days, excuse me, not 4 days.
Yeah. So you talk about watching more of it live. Like, what do you do though? Like, I think the game is getting way too slow. These guys are taking way too much time to hit shots.
Yeah.
And I still think it would be neat to have more of these guys and their caddies mic'd up. I want to hear what they're talking about
Yeah.
on the golf course. I want to hear what they're seeing when they're talking about shots and club. Like, now that, could, I don't know, tape delay, editing, whatever, but why are we continuing to listen to bad announcing when you could get play-by-play on the golf course from the players? Like, what is their interaction with each other? What is their interaction with their caddies? Do they ever talk to any of the fans? Like, I'd like to be more involved in the match or in the tournament.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about on-course interviews. That's ridiculous. Those
Yeah.
are so bad. Like, the fact that Rory agreed to do an on-course interview during play at the Masters was a joke. Like, it was so stupid.
Yeah.
But natural conversation between you and your caddy and maybe you and another player, like, I would have loved to have Morikawa and Matty Fitzpatrick and their caddies mic'd up when that whole green reading,
Yeah, right.
taking notes, like, that's the shit I want to hear. Like, how did that conversation go?
It's just, there's just a complete disconnect between the people who run the professional golf game. They're like, all we've heard is we want to grow the game and get people watching golf. And you've made no effort to make the product better.
You've not succeeded at
You've
all.
made it. It's only gotten worse for the past 5 years.
Yep.
Now your product is worth less. So inevitably your TV deal will be less, which means we'll probably have to see more advertisers because they have to make up the money somehow.
Yeah. Or they're going to go back to the old days when, we're only going to see like Saturday and Sunday.
Right. Yeah. They're going to show us highlight reels of Thursday and Friday.
Like they didn't used to turn TV coverage didn't used to happen till like the back nine on Sunday.
Yeah.
Now you have 4 straight days of 9-10 hours of coverage.
Yeah.
And it does, and then we talked about this when we start losing attention, I can only imagine how the average
casual fan
is feeling. Like if the golf can't hold my attention, those casual fans, they're probably like, what the
you wouldn't even turn it on.
this?
You would skip right past it when you're going through the guide on your TV. Like you wouldn't click on it.
Yep.
And you're right. That's the problem, is that if you can't even get guys or girls who are crazy about golf, like who love golf, if we're saying I might never turn it on except for 4 weekends a year, like why would any other person who is thinking it, maybe like their father-in-law is into it, so they're trying to get into it to like, impress their girlfriend or fiance or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a million reasons somebody might try and turn on golf. And especially like you said, if more and more people are going out to play and trying to start playing the game, inevitably they're going to want to watch professional golf.
Yep.
But then they and can you imagine turning on the TV and watching for 1 minute and then getting 2 minutes of commercials? You'd be like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done with this. It just took 3 minutes for someone to turn the TV off. Like that, I don't understand when we've seen sports like baseball come out with the rules that they've had, like the changes in the rules that they put together was like a big deal for a sport that is generally considered pretty stuffy and like old-timey and traditionalist. Now, there might not be a greater stuffy sport than golf in the entire world, but it's like, if baseball is willing to try these things to pull in new viewers and make the game a better TV product, a better in-person product, if they're willing to try it, if the NBA, who is constantly trying to, come up with things, again, I don't know if like the in-season tournament is the answer, but like they're trying, like at least they're, bless their hearts, they're trying.
Yeah.
Like the NFL is just a monster. They can do whatever they want and people are going to watch. That just, they're the only ones who have like carte blanche to do nothing because people are just going to watch it. But we see these other major American sports trying to find ways to keep fans engaged. Baseball had a big problem. Like games were taking too long. Nobody wanted to go to baseball games because it's just too long. So they implemented these rules and they've worked, man. Like they've worked.
Yeah.
Ratings were higher. Attendance was up. Games, on average, were 45 minutes less time.
Yeah. And I'll attest to that. I went to my first baseball game, and I don't know how long, and I couldn't believe how quick and smooth the game went.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you get to golf, and it's just like...
Right. And you have the NBA, who is trying. They don't always hit their mark,
right?
But they're trying. They're actively trying.
Yes.
And golf is just stuck. And I don't even know if I'd say stuck. They're moving backwards. They're moving in the wrong.
You almost
direction.
You almost would need to be convinced they're not doing this on purpose for some reason that we don't know about.
Yeah. Hey.
Because if they're if you're just stupid and this is what you're coming up with, then that might be even worse. If at least you came out and were like, well, we're really trying just to devalue this thing for some reason. You'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense at least.
Yeah.
But this is just like real decisions that happen under the guise of we're making it better. And it's like no sane human being would think that this is what you're doing.
Right.
And I don't know how you fix it, man. I don't know how it gets fixed. I don't know. I have no helpful options. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but they need to start trying some stuff.
Because if this private equity thing happens, what does that do? It's going to increase the purse size. It's going to keep some sponsors around because they're not going to have to pay as much money from the sponsorships because this is going to kind of supplement that. And then what? Like, so what? You don't think more guys are going to go over to LIV because it's a guaranteed payday?
Right.
Like, I get it that you still like I appreciate that you still have to earn your money on the PGA Tour. That's the whole reason why there's competition. And like, you should have to do that. You should have to earn it. But if we haven't seen enough guys go, like, this isn't going to help. It doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't. And like, it's nowhere near close to solving the problem. And I'm not sure there's anybody at the PGA Tour that if you ask them, if within the first 10 minutes of them talking, they would say, well, we really need to think about the fan. Would you give them like over under? Would it take them 20 minutes to mention fans?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in a conversation with one of these guys. And it's just like, it's just so out of touch.
Yeah.
With, like you said, the opportunity that, look, COVID obviously was not good for anybody, but like it got a lot of people going to play golf. Like a lot. Like, and they have taken zero advantage of what's happened to just the sport of golf. And they've just done absolutely nothing to take advantage of it and get more people interested in the professional game.
Right.
And again, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, and all this back and forth between LIV and the PGA Tour, it's not good press anyway. Like like having already rich people fight over more money is not a way to increase your viewership either.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a shaky, it's a shaky time for golf. You still have the four majors, thank goodness. That you have that whole rabbit hole of equipment changes and golf ball rollbacks, and the game, I guess, essentially is supposed to get a little bit more difficult for these guys over the next couple years. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, it's in a tricky spot right now, and the viewership, I don't see any ideas being put out. Like, that's the thing. I don't see any ideas being put out there. I'll give the NBA one thing. They're at least transparent about what they're trying to do and what they're going to do. You don't hear shit from the PGA Tour.
Yeah. Because they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about how do we get more money to pay these guys more so they don't leave.
Yeah. Aye.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. And if more and more guys keep going that like we care about.
Yeah. And
again,
you have people too that, you want to root for, and they sound ridiculous. This whole thing about, making the Ryder Cup a paid event, and this, like, dude, it's a weekend.
Yeah, right.
Out of your life every other year. And again, that's a situation too, as far as that, like, don't play. That can be straight up a freaking tryout.
Yeah.
You know what? Nobody makes it. You're trying out. The captains can pick, but then the other spots are like tryouts. There you go. Have a Ryder Cup
They have to
match.
Monday qualify into the Ryder
Yeah.
Cup.
Like, and especially for Team US, especially, for our guys who half of them don't want to be there anyway because they're not getting paid. Like this, the money situation is just unfortunate, and the viewers were the ones that are suffering the most.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I don't have a solution. There's nothing really on the horizon that gives you a lot of positives.
Yeah, and neither do they.
Which is
so.
a bummer. Yeah, right.
It's,
And they
it's
get
above
paid.
your.
It's okay
Yeah.
though. Jay Monahan's salary went from 13 million to 16.5 million last year.
Yeah, plus a $9 million bonus. I think I saw. So yeah, good for him.
Listen,
Good for him.
doing a great job. Really, really deserved it. Good job, Jay. Good for you.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good. I'm sure that performance review was fantastic.
Yeah, proud of you, buddy.
Good for you, bud. All right, let's talk about something enjoyable quickly before we wrap up.
Finally, let's do it.
We're gonna have some more Tiger this weekend. He's playing in the PNC Father-Son Challenge. Is it a challenge now? Is it a championship? I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Is
But
that
anyway.
to make sure everybody feels good about themselves?
Yes.
Even if they don't win, is that what that is? They change the name.
But I think we know Tiger will be there. We saw Tiger play. I think everyone's kind of more interested in how Charlie's going to look.
Hell yeah.
He's been winning a bunch of junior stuff with Tiger on the bag. Like, I think when was the last one that they actually played in? 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
What's that?
The last one that him and Tiger played in together.
They played last year.
Did they play last year?
Yeah.
I think he's gotten like a lot better since then.
Oh yeah, well, he's a fairly big kid. Like he's, that personal trainer,
Starting to look like his dad and all the beef up
nutritionist.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't think that kid wants for much when it comes to
I don't think so.
When it comes to preparing for golf.
Yeah,
and
that personal chef works out well.
Yeah.
That's around the house.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Charlie.
But I think it'll playing from the same tee. Should be playing from the same tees as his dad. Like,
is he all the way back? Is he? I don't know. If
he said
he
said they play the same tees when they play each other.
Okay.
I don't think Tiger's moved up a tee since he was 12.
Well, I think Charlie's at like a 260, 270 carry. That's
not
pretty
bad.
good for.
I was about to say.
Yeah, it's okay.
Not bad. What is he? How old is he? Like 15?
Something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, at least we'll get to see Tiger. We'll get to see how Charlie plays. We'll get to essentially see him try and imitate his dad on all his follow throughs and his those snapbacks. Like after he really takes a lash at one. I wonder if there's a point where he stops trying to do that. Or do you think it's just subconscious at this point? Like, when every kid will be like, I'm not my dad. Like, stop, stop putting me side by side with him and all this kind of stuff. Or do you think that that's a thing when you're Tiger Woods' kid?
Man.
Is it just so cool that you just have to?
If you're going down the golf route, I would 100% be like, yep, I want to be just like my dad.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
On the golf course.
Right, yeah. Charlie, hire a driver now.
Yeah.
Put him on retainer.
Some of the other stuff.
Yeah. All of the other stuff. Don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah. I hope he wins 19 majors and say, hey, I'm just doing what my dad never could.
Yeah.
Just starts giving him shit.
That would be pretty good.
But yeah, I don't think Charlie minds the comparisons to dad in this situation.
It would just be fun if you just think about him scrolling his phone and the side by sides of him, and he's just like, God, another one. He's pissed off, and he's just stupid.
Yes.
Getting angry about it.
Stupid club twirl.
Yeah, right. That'd be pretty funny. Oh man. Well, it'll be fun to see the big cat again.
It will, and there's some other good personalities. It's such a fun tournament to watch, and I love how I don't know if it's just hereditary or what. Like I love watching some of these kids play like 2 rounds a year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're like dropping 30-footers,
Right, but there's
and-
still like a 4, there's still like a 3
Yeah,
handicap, and they're like,
yeah.
yeah, he plays college baseball and sometimes gets to play golf, you know?
Yeah, and hitting wedges to like 3 feet.
Yeah,
and it's like,
right.
yeah, this is his second round in the last 3 years. He can still get it around pretty good.
Yeah.
He jerk.
You're right. That's so funny when they say that about, or it's like it's a 12-year-old kid, and he just, you know what I mean?
Freaking Annika Sorenstam's
Yeah.
kid last year is like
Yeah.
11.
Right.
He's draining putts all over the place. Hitting bunker shots.
Mhm.
Like, screw you, kid.
Yeah, right. You're just like, God, it's the worst to
Yeah.
see 12-year-olds that are better than you
I
at
know.
golf. It's annoying.
So,
But you're right. It is
Um,
one of the fun things to watch in golf nowadays. So,
yeah, it is. And yeah, who else we got? The dailies. Like the dailies always play.
yep.
I think
Trevino and his son.
Trevino's played in like 75 of these.
Yeah, right. At least at this point, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely getting to see Charlie. I think that's my I don't know. Are you more excited to see Charlie than Tiger?
Yes, because we saw Tiger last week.
Because we saw
If we had
Tiger
not,
last
or 2 weeks ago, if we had not seen Tiger yet, I think I'd be
Yeah.
equally as excited. But I think now that we saw Tiger, I'm ready. Yeah, ready to see
Yeah.
Charlie.
Is Charlie at the point where he's like, Dad, can you hit a decent shot at some point today?
I'll go second, Dad. You go first.
Yeah.
See if you can get it
Yeah.
close, and then I'll
Right.
really rip into one.
Yeah, stay in the cart.
Yeah.
I'll tee off for, and I'll let you know if I need you.
Yeah. You just put a fairway finder out there, and then I'll take a rip at it.
Yeah,
Or like, Dad, go first. Give me a target. Give me something to shoot at.
yeah,
That'd be pretty funny.
that would be.
I bet it's not that far off. I bet it's not as far off as we think,
probably not. Probably not.
which is kind of wild.
yeah.
Anyway, it'll be a good time. I'll look forward to watching some of that.
Yeah, it'll be a good distraction from all this live shit
Garbage.
and,
Yeah, that's going.
and everything else.
Everything else that's sucking the life out of our golf fandom. Yep. Well, on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. As always, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you are not watching on YouTube, you should go subscribe to the channel. It's free. There'll be a link to the video in every podcast description. If you're listening on the audio platforms, we are available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure, leave us a rating, leave us a comment. We appreciate all of them. So thank you everyone who's been sticking with the show. Watching the YouTube, we appreciate all of you. We will be back next week. We'll recap the PNC, talk about anything else that's going on in golf. Hopefully we'll have some more positive news, but we appreciate everyone listening and watching. Make sure you follow the platform on Instagram, B&B Podcast. Make sure you follow him on Instagram at FairbanksC23. You can follow me on Twitter at Big Regz with AZ. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, day, whenever you're listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Work hard, everyone.
Oh, it's not a cut. That's a slice.
Now this is a quack hook.
Oh,
Short
wow.
and into the right rough, headed to the trees.
Oh my God, it's a shank. He decided to re-tee. That's a shank.